today I went through a period like about 10 seconds where I was twitching, but then after I was like, I could basically just go out right now and just collapse.
So they've got concerns that he can go into a sudden cardiac arrest. And I think like hearing that, it really, like the fear of him passing away was always there, but that made that fear that much more closer.
Two Palestine activists could die in British prisons in the next few days if the government don't listen to their demands. That's because they've been on hunger strike in protest at their conditions. They've been held on remand for months after being arrested in connection with alleged Palestine Action raids on Israeli-linked targets in the UK. A mechanic from East London, Kamran Ahmed, has been on hunger strike for over 2 months and has been hospitalised 6 times. His sister is in this protest here tonight, and we're going to try and talk to her. We managed to catch up with Shamina after the protest reached Westminster, as she was speaking to her brother on the phone from prison. Kamran is one of 4 Palestine Action prisoners still on hunger strike at the time of recording. I asked him if he had heard the protest outside HMP Pentonville.
I heard it, then I opened my window to double check what was going on, and then I couldn't hear it no more, and then after I was like, alright, cool, maybe I'm imagining things again, because I'm like, why would it be so early at 5 p.m? But then I heard it come again, and I'm just like, right, I'm not going to go back to the window, because I think this is all just a trick, and my brain is just playing games on me. But yeah, I heard it, it was loud.
Are you shocked the government have let it get to this stage? Did you think they would listen to your demands earlier?
I thought they would actually negotiate, yeah. So I genuinely thought they would have negotiated by now. If not negotiate, at least some of the demands in terms of fair trial, mistreatment of prisoners and stuff, but it seems that they're not willing to do anything really. They're just waiting for one of us to pass away.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Kamran. So I'm here with Shamina, whose brother Kamran is on hunger strike. Shamina, can you just tell us, how did your brother get arrested and what started all of this?
Cameron got arrested in November 2024 as part of an ongoing alleged action that happened at Filton Elbit site. At that point, there'd already been 10 people that had been arrested for it. He was arrested alongside 7 others in a morning dawn raids by counter-terrorism police. And then since then, he's been remanded into prison.
How's his health at the moment? Because he hasn't eaten for 2 months. People are really concerned about him. You've been to visit him. Can you tell us about that?
He has changed so much in the last 2 months. One of the difficult things is like witnessing him like shredding away. And I remember when I used to hug him, my arms would just about like my hands would touch. And now they cross over. I hugged him the other day and my elbows crossed over. So to me, he's become paper thin. And to watch your brother just basically fading away is hard and it's painful. The other thing that I really struggle with is he is the forever optimist, and he doesn't like to think about the things that are sad or difficult. I know that regularly now when he stands, he gets really dizzy and the risk of passing out is very high. I think that what's been the most concerning is his last hospitalisation. There was a chest x-ray done, and from that chest x-ray, a doctor told him that his heart muscles, the muscles around his heart, are shrinking. And then his ECG, which is an electrocardiogram, it basically measures the activity of your heart, it's changed. And it's significantly been changing since he's been on the hunger strike every single time he comes into hospital. So they've got concerns that he can go into a sudden cardiac arrest. And I think like hearing that, it really, like the fear of him passing away was always there, but that made that fear that much more closer. And I don't want to think about the fact that I could be burying my brother when he's my younger brother. He was supposed to outlive me.
What's this been like for your parents? How are they holding up?
Extremely difficult, but I think like what's astounding with our family is the reason we support CAMS in the hunger strike is for the last year we've bear witness to the injustice by the court system. He was granted bail and then that bail was appealed and then taken away from him. And then we witness the fact that he's been in jail for over a year. When we go to court, we witness injustices in the court, which we're not allowed to talk about because of the contempt of court. And if you're seeing all these things, how can you not support him? Because this is the last-ditch attempt. There is nothing else. People have kept asking me, why don't you try the legal routes? I was like, do you not think we've tried the legal routes? We've done everything we can within our power. We have written to our MPs. We've asked for responses from the Home Secretary. At the time it was Yvette Cooper, now Shabana Mahmood. We've asked for responses from David Lammy, and they all say the same thing. When we ask them about the right to a fair trial and the fact that there's potential interference in the case. What was really painful before Christmas was hearing Lord Simpson say, we have hunger strikers all the time.
We are very experienced at dealing with hunger strikers. Unfortunately, over the last 5 years, we've averaged over 200 hunger strike incidents every year. I don't treat any prisoners any differently from any other, and so that is why we will not be meeting any prisoners or their representatives.
Yes, you do have hunger strikers all the time, because the prison system, clearly there's something wrong with it if people feel like they need to starve themselves to get their rights.
Your brother's been on hunger strike for 2 months now. Do you feel David Lammy bears some responsibility for the situation? Could he have met with the family or your brother to negotiate demands sooner?
100%, but you know what? He hasn't even met with us. The minimum he could have done is met with the families. The best thing he could have done is meet with the prisoners and actually understand the situation and why they're hunger striking. I just find it incredibly insulting that he saw me in December and I handed that letter to him and he acted shocked and surprised that there was hunger strikers in the UK and that they had been hospitalised. And I remember the one thing that rings in my head the most is in the UK, and I don't think I will ever forget that phrase.
I don't know anything about this.
My brother is on now day 25.
Really sorry, I don't know anything about this.
I know. They wrote to you about October, end of October, and we're like in the UK. And if you are that shocked by it, then when you are met with legal solicitors handing you papers and documents, doing a legal challenge, asking you to meet, when you're having MPs like John MacDonald and Jeremy Corbyn knock at your door, asking you to intervene, to have a conversation. It went from intervening to just have a conversation with the family. And it went from that to John MacDonald being like, we can even get you to speak to a mediator. And we're moving the bar down for him, but you still don't want to meet. But you pretended to be shocked in December. That's a disgrace to your humanity and the position that you hold. Because how can you be the Secretary of State of Justice, but there's nothing just about what you're doing right now?
Okay. Your brother's been taken to hospital 6 times now. How do you feel each time you find out that he's been moved to hospital?
Honestly, it's the same feeling each time. It's an unreal feeling of full anxiety. I don't sleep well. I can't think straight. I don't know what to do with myself. And the thing is, like, when people are in hospital, you know, like, usually people go to hospital when something's serious. And the fact that you have no contact with him to find out how he's doing is painful.
And your brother's now one of the last 2 of the Palestine Action prisoners left on hunger strike. The others have stopped because their health conditions have become so serious. Does that scare you, that your brother's one of the last 2 still on hunger strike?
It doesn't. To me, at the moment, Heba and Kamran have such commitment to see this through, and I support them all the way through. I try not to think about the worst outcome. But what we've also seen is Umar yesterday has rejoined the hunger strike. What we're also witnessing in the prisons, and because the government has failed to act, other prisoners are wanting to join Kamran in the hunger strike. They have spoken to him and said, we want to join, can we do it? And the fact that they're watching Kamran and Heba, who are unconvicted and currently awaiting trial, putting their body on a hunger strike, and the government has decided to ignore it, I don't think anyone else wants to ignore it, to make sure that everyone in the British public and across the world internationally know that these guys are potentially dying at the hands of the government and will be left with lifelong complications. You don't get to day 60, beyond day 60, and not be left with complications. That's one of the things that is probably more haunting than the potential that they may pass away, because they could be left with lifelong damages, which could have been prevented if the government had engaged earlier.
Thanks, Shamina. It's really difficult to hear about what's happening to your brother. If you want to find out more about what's happening to the hunger strikers, you can follow them on social media on the handle Prisoners for Palestine. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to support Declassified's work, please share this video and subscribe to the channel. And we've got an event coming up at the end of January in London. You can get tickets in the link below. Thanks for watching.